Welcome to Boater's Secret Weapon. I'm your host, Captain Matt. Today we're talking fuel, specifically ethanol fuel and your boat. So is ethanol fuel good for your boat, bad for your boat? Why do some people say it doesn't matter and others say I've had the worst experience, only use Rec 90? Well, with the way fuel prices are going, Rec 90 already about $1 more than regular 87 octane ethanol blend, 10%. First of all, ethanol is ethyl alcohol, or basically grain alcohol. It's made from corn, and it has some characteristics that we need to know about. Specifically, it's hydrophilic, which means it's water-loving. Now, enough with the science. Ethanol attracts water to it. Unlike 100% gasoline, which does not, that 10% of ethanol will allow your fuel to attract water. Now, why does that not matter on cars, but it does on boats? Well, it's because of this little thing right here. What the heck is it? Well, that is your fuel vent. In the marine environment, fuel systems are vented to the open air because of the size of the fuel tanks, the expansion of fuel. What that means is that water-loving ethanol portion of the fuel is going to attract water into your fuel through that open system. Your car system, everything's closed off. There's really no way for the moisture to get in there. The usage and the size of the tank. So cars and truck, my truck's got maybe a 26-gallon tank, my F-150. It can go about 300-400 miles. Boats have a fuel tanks between 30, maybe even down to 10, depending on what you're running, up to 100 gallons. And they usually have a range of about 300 miles or so. Think about how much more you run your vehicle than you run your boat. How long is a tank of fuel going to last? If you put it in and you fill up your tank to 90%, don't ever fill your tank to 100% because it's going to expand and it can spill into the water. But if you fill your tank up to that 90% level, how long before you run through that tank of fuel? Well, that whole time, the tank is expanding and contracting with the air. It's sloshing around when you're running it. It's open to the atmosphere, and it's going to attract moisture in. What happens when it attracts moisture in? Well, that water gets in there. Hopefully, you have a fuel water separator, which is going to separate that water, but you can see how the water kind of settles in at the bottom, and your fuel is up top. The engines do not like to run water. They want to run straight gasoline. If you want to watch a great video on this, Aaron at Born Again Boating has done a fantastic job on it. It talks through a lot of the science of it. He does a great experiment. I encourage you to check that out. Another thing that can happen with ethanol is phase separation. Because there's 10% ethyl alcohol in the gasoline, what can happen over time is it can separate from the 90% of pure gasoline. When that happens, you cannot get it back together. Once that phase separation happens, that's different than water in the fuel, but once that phase separation happens, now you're in big trouble because now you have 90% gasoline, but you've got 10% ethyl alcohol, which your motor does not want to run at all. Who are the people that can use ethanol? If you burn a tank of fuel a week and you run through your fuel quickly, you have a smaller tank, you run your boat consistently, maybe ethanol will work for you. If you are running a tank every month or more, I'm going to encourage you to stick with 100% gasoline despite the price increase. If you run in a low humidity environment, I don't know who's running their boat in low humidity, but if it's stored in low humidity, you turn it over quickly. But if you're on a body of water and you store your boat near that body of water, it's humid around that area. High humidity areas, you're more susceptible to more water in. If you are going to run ethanol, make sure that you pay close attention to your fuel water separator and you're changing it out, not just emptying it, but actually changing that fuel water separator, and you're treating your fuel with something like seafoam or some other treatment that's going to help that water mix into the gasoline and run through a little bit better. Okay. If you can't find pure gasoline, where do you go? pure.gas.org. You can go to in Canada or the US, click on your state, click on your province. So if you like this video, hit that like button. Leave a comment. If you're new to boating, check out Boater Bootcamp. We talk about the ethanol, the fuel water separator, and more. It's totally free. BoaterBootcamp.com. Boater are looking to buy a boat. Check out the Boat Buyer's Toolkit. BoatBuyersSecretWeapon.com/toolkit. Remember, life truly is better on a boat.